The Saints made a huge upgrade to their secondary, getting Justin Reid from the Chiefs. Let's talk about the move right here on the Straight Up Saints podcast.
You're listening to the Straight Up Saints podcast.
What is up, Who Dat Nation? Welcome inside another edition of the Straight Up Saints podcast. I'm your host, Chris Rosvoglu, and as always, the Straight Up Saints podcast is brought to you by Scott Fickner Injury Lawyers. Been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, hurt offshore, Scott Fickner handles it all. You give him a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. They'll always fight for the win. The Saints made two major moves this Tuesday, one involving a player they had on their roster they were trying to retain, and one involving one of the best teams in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. The first one was Juwan Johnson, 3-year, $30 million deal and a contract that if you just go on Twitter, you could see Saints fans aren't happy about it. They feel like it's an overpay. What happens a couple of hours later? Saints go out, get Justin Reid, one of the top remaining free agents, veteran safety, super reliable. He's going to be a tone setter for the Saints. They bring him in on a 3-year, $31.5 million deal. Look, I know in today's climate for Saints stuff, it's very easy to get aggravated, right? Whether the team has the wrong vision for what they want to be, not accepting a full rebuild, whatever the frustrations may be. But whether they were rebuilding or competing for the NFC South, one of the main positions of needs for the Saints had to be safety. It had to. They just did not have a really nice, depth chart at the safety position. The Saints had no future promises at that position, outside of Tyrann Mathieu, and even Tyrann Mathieu is a declining player at this point. The Saints haven't had a lot of potential. You bring in Justin Reid now to this secondary group. It gives them like I said, a tone setter, a guy who's come from a championship culture, a player that doesn't really miss a lot of games. He'll give you range. He'll be that hard-hitting safety if you need him to. A versatile player for a Brandon Staley defensive scheme that is going to need that chess piece in the back end of the defense. So I like the signing. And I think, honestly, at this point, this is going to be the one move this offseason that everyone should be on board with. I don't want to hear about the contract. I think 3-year, $31.5 million for a player that you be paying him in his seasons where he's 28, 29, and 30 years old is very easy to kind of hold up. I think the fact that it is a position of need that this team has not addressed in a couple of years, huge box to check off. And more importantly, he is one of the best free agents remaining. I talked about maybe the Saints going after Mekhi Becton. I talked about maybe the Saints going for Asante Samuel Jr. When you go out and get Justin Reid, how can I complain about that move? When you check off one of your main needs and bringing in a legitimate piece to this team that is going to help them in the long run, whether it is rebuilding, whether it's competing for the NFC South, Justin Reid is going to be able to help the Saints with both. Really love the contract. I don't think you're going to be getting a player on the decline. I think you're getting him smack in the middle of the prime of his career. And look, the Louisiana homecoming is going to make fans a little bit happier too. So I love all those moves. I love the fact that he has that chemistry with Tyrann Mathieu. Should make it a little bit more, the transition to New Orleans a little bit more fluid for Justin Reid. So overall, I would give this move really 2 thumbs up for New Orleans. I think they did a good job going out there, assessing their needs, getting a player that is going to really help out the back end of Staley's defense. And now you can be a little bit more flexible, whether it's in free agency or even the draft with what positions you need. I still think they need another safety, but now I'm not screaming that you need 2. You really just need one more. You could address corner. You could address the D-line. And obviously, offensively, they need to add some playmakers, but I expect them to do that in the draft. So Justin Reid joining the Saints. What do you think about the move? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, guys, make sure to subscribe to Boo Crew Media and stay tuned for more content here from the Straight Up Saints podcast, the destination for the Who Dat